let's begin with this new information, Anne-Marie, concerning Tuesday's Atlanta area spa shootings. The suspect accused of killing 8 people, most of whom were of Asian descent, has officially been charged with murder and aggravated assault. Now, the rampage has sparked outrage throughout the entire Asian American community, which has seen a significant rise in racist violence throughout the coronavirus pandemic. And now, one police spokesperson involved in the case is facing criticism for his response. It comes as investigators say it is too early to tell if the attack was racially motivated. That is what officials are saying. Mark Strassmann is reporting on the latest.
Robert Long's parents recognized him in these surveillance photos posted on social media and alerted deputies, who began tracking his cell phone. They forced his SUV off the highway and arrested him 150 miles south of Atlanta. But not before they say he went on a rampage at 3 different Atlanta area spas.
A white male? What is he wearing?
I don't know. Play the card, okay?
8 people were murdered in roughly 1 hour, 6 of them Asian women.
This is still early, but he does claim that it was not racially motivated.
Officials said race did not appear to be behind the attacks.
He apparently has an issue, what he considers a sex addiction, and sees these locations as something that allows him to go to these places, and it's a temptation for him that he wanted to eliminate.
The working theory is a sexual addiction issue rather than a racial profile.
During our interviews, we asked that specific question, and that did not appear to be the motive.
But activist and author Helen Zia said authorities are missing important context.
Hypersexualization of Asian American women is part of the racism toward Asian Americans. And to say that sexual addiction is an excuse or a reason to go on a mass killing rampage is ridiculous. He's going to take the word of a mass shooter who happens to be white against the lived experience of the Asian American community.
Zia also said Captain Jay Baker's description of the suspect's frame of mind was outrageous.
And he was pretty much fed up and kind of at the end of his rope, and yesterday was a really bad day for him, and this is what he did.
I couldn't believe that a police captain was recounting the bad day that the killer had without a shred of empathy for the really bad day that the 8 victims and their families had, the incredible grief that the whole community is going through. And this is the kind of thing that makes people question law enforcement and whether they are really there for the people that they're supposed to be protecting.
And Mark joins us now with more from Georgia. So, Mark, Baker is also facing criticism for a Facebook post he made last year. Tell us more about that. What did he do?
He had a post on his personal Facebook that showed some T-shirts. They were anti-Asian T-shirts that said COVID-19 virus imported from China, sort of fueling that same sentiment that former President Trump had when he was referring to the Kung flu, that many Asian Americans, of course, and lots of folks have objected to as racist too. And so all of this sort of feeds into the narrative that there are a number of insensitivities going on here. And now you have a sheriff's office investigating what many people see as a hate crime. And there may be some people in the sheriff's office who have problematic attitudes of their own. So we've got sort of multiple levels of complexity here, and none of this is particularly helpful.
Isn't that the truth? Have we heard anything from any potential witnesses?
No, not so much, Anne-Marie. I honestly think that in many instances, the best witnesses in these 3 business establishments will be the surveillance tape that's inside. I mean, almost all these places have it, and at least they have it in the lobby. And so you'll recall that it was the surveillance image from the first crime scene that the sheriff's office posted and said, "Have you seen this guy? If you have, let us know. Or if you know who this guy is, let us know." And his parents actually responded and said, "Yeah, that's our son." So I honestly think that the surveillance tape, as much as anything, may be the best witness of all. And then, of course, from what investigators say, the suspect has confessed. So it may not be all that hard to build a case against him. The question is, what charge is going to be leveled against him besides murder? Will it be a hate crime charge? And we have to. That remains to be seen.
So, Mark, what more can you tell us about the victims? I note that in your evening news piece last night, you had some details on a newlywed, which was horrific. But what more do you know about some of the others?
Well, let me talk about the newlywed just for a second, Vlad, because this is a sort of a striking moment, too. So her name was, she's 33 years old. Delena Yen Gonzalez was in here. As a customer, she was killed. In another room was her husband. They've been married less than a year. He was also a customer here. He was in a room with a locked door. He survived, but I mean, this woman who is his wife, who was killed, they have an 8-month-old daughter. So it's one of the many tragedies here. There are at least of the 6 Asian women who were murdered, 4 of them are Korean. That was confirmed by the South Korean Foreign Ministry. The owner of this particular business was 49 years old. She was killed. So we're starting now to sort of piece together some of these folks and what their backstories are, and just the mindlessness and senselessness and tragedy of the whole thing. Of course, is 8 individual lives that were needlessly ended yesterday.
Indeed, Mark. Thank you so much.